channel. If you are new here, my name is Trisha Penn Jackson. I'm a licensed real estate agent in New York City, and I also write a fashion, food, and lifestyle blog called feastandfashion.com. Here on this channel, we talk about fashion, we talk about lifestyle, we talk about travel, and of course, a little bit of real estate. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know when these videos drop, and please give this video a huge thumbs up and let YouTube know you liked it. And furthermore, please don't forget to share, friends. Today's video is a cute little chat video. We're at the top of 2023, and I thought it would be a great time to just chat about, you know, elevating your style, doing things that would make you look a little bit more expensive, but even on a budget, because as we know, we were slated to go into a recession this year. I do not believe, I'm putting my real estate hat on right now, I do not believe we're going into a recession, but it still does not mean that we can't try to save some coins and save some money here and there, and make sure that what we're doing and investing in our wardrobe is cost effective. So I figured I'd come to you with 10 things to elevate your style on a budget. And here we go. We're going to jump right into it. The first thing I want to mention is something that I'm probably sure that you hear a lot about, but I really want to reiterate and kind of hone in on the different aspects on how you can actually do this and why it's so important, and that is clothing care. So taking care of your clothes, whether they are high fashion or they are luxury or they are fast fashion, is very, very important. One, because you don't have to keep buying things all the time. Like if you're on a budget, or even if you're not on a budget, our environment definitely deserves for us not to have to buy clothes all the time, and proper clothing care is very, very important. Whether that's washing your clothes on the right cycles and with the right detergents and stuff for the fabric, you can always find that in the back of a clothing, or that is making sure that even something like your sweaters are properly shaved with a sweater shaver. Just making sure that your clothes are taken care of, and really taking care of them in the proper way, whether you're taking them to the dry cleaners or you're making sure you're steaming them, is very, very important. There's nothing more telling than a person who has holes in their clothes, or the clothes are, you know, fuzzy from like the little peeling, or there are stains in the clothing, or it's like, you know, the yellow under your arm, when you know what I'm talking about, for the white t-shirts with the yellow. There's nothing more telling than a person who has clothing like that. To elevate your style, though, proper clothing care is very, very important. And actually, I'm going to give you a quick tip for that whole yellowing under the arm. Is actually, besides bleach, I use bleach and OxyClean, but beside those two things to get my clothes really white, I also use blue dyeing washing dye or something like that. I will link it in my description below. I get it on Amazon. I actually learned about this trick through Melissa's wardrobe. Mel made me do it, whatever. I learned about that trick through her, but Jackie Aina talks about this all the time too, and about how she keeps her linens white, and that's that blue dye, that blue washing dye or something like that, and it really does keep that yellowing from happening on your white clothes. So it's just a quick little tip from me to you if you haven't heard it before. All right, so my second item on this list is actually making sure that your clothes are properly tailored and that they fit you properly. So I fluctuate a lot with weight. Like there's some pants right now, I'm looking at the other side of my closet, that I'm like, these need to go because they cannot fit over this booty right now, this pandemic booty. It cannot fit. And that is a very important thing. Like you should make sure that your clothes fit you properly. Like whether it's for me, this is the one thing that's very, very hard for me to get tailored, and that is sleeve length. Like I can't really get around that, but everything else, my pants length, I'm a tall girl, I'm 5'9", and I'm mostly legs. My torso is quite short, so my pants tend to, if I buy them straight off the rack, whether it's designer or something, or fast fashion, not really fast fashion, or high street fashion, they tend to be short on me, so I have to get them hemmed. I have to go to a tailor and get them hemmed. And another thing that I also try to do is, because I have a smaller waist to my hip and butt ratio, My pants do that gapping thing and I hate it. I always have to pull up the waist on my pants because my waist is smaller. I tend to go to the tailors and get those taken in so that they fit me in the correct way. And you just know, like, you could buy something from Zara, you can buy something from H&M, but get a little tailoring to it to make it sure that it fits to your body. Just totally elevates the look and just makes you look a little bit more put together and a little bit more luxurious. And honestly, it's a really quick way and a really easy way to make a cheaper piece look very expensive. So that is my tip number 2. My tip number 3 is having proper grooming. This doesn't have to do necessarily with your clothes, but it has to do with your appearance and all. I think that is very important as women or whoever you are, just to have a bit of proper grooming. And that's not to say style, because everybody has their own style, but from your hair to your nails to your eyebrows, or your face, and just being clean and smelling good all together, I think that is a very great way to elevate your personal style and just actually make you feel a little bit more confident. I am a fragrance kind of person, so I love smelling good, and I always am just taken aback when I smell somebody that smells amazing. So it's one of my big, my big things that I love to have people around me that smell good. So that's a very big thing, whether you're getting your eyebrows waxed or making sure that your hair is nice. And this is something that I'm going to tell myself, because hair is really not my thing. I wish I was more into hair. I know how to do my hair to a certain extent, whether it's in its natural state curly, or when I have it blow dry straight, or when I have a weave I can curl it, but I'm just not into it. And I have a hard time sometimes keeping my hair as neat and cute as it's supposed to be, but I'm definitely working on it, and I've done a lot better. I've mainly moved more towards wearing wigs, which cut my styling and primping time down tremendously. I've actually taken a break from them. That's why I've been wearing my hair straight recently. But if you can't do your hair, girl, go get a proper wig. I get custom made wigs because my head is a little bit on the bigger side, so I get custom made ones. But go get yourself a good wig, because just having your hair nice and looking, it can even be a curly wig. It doesn't have to be like a straight wig. It can be a curly wig. Just having a cute hairstyle, I think, really just elevates and just makes anybody look more put together. All right, the next thing on my list is invest in basics. This is number 4. Investing in basics, I think, is very important because, again, this goes back to the clothing care situation. A lot of people are into and buying fast fashion, but one of the things that I think, if you can avoid buying at a fast fashion thing, are your basics. And that's like button-down shirts, t-shirts, jeans. If you can just invest, and invest is different to everybody. $20 might be an investment, $200 might be an investment, $2,000 might be an investment for another person. But if you can try to just spend a little bit more money on basics, and then in turn care for them properly, I think it would be really great for the environment, and also just for your budget. If you're going to wear t-shirts, if you're wearing t-shirts, everybody wears a t-shirt. I'm sure everybody has a plain white t-shirt in their closet. Just make sure it's a little bit more elevated, because the ones that you can buy that might cost a little bit more money are better made. They're made with better material, better cotton, and their thread count and fabric construction is a lot more solid, which means that they will last longer. They won't shear out, they won't get holes in them, the necks won't get that gaping. If you really invest in great basics, they will take you a long way, and that is a huge tip, so that you don't have to keep buying them. No one wants to keep buying something that is the same of what they already have, just because that thing is tattered and looks crazy. So that is my 4th tip. Okay, so the next item on my list is actually a really good one. I do this all the time to obviously stay in a budget and save a little coin. And that is actually shopping designer discount. And when I say designer discount, there are three categories that falls into. One is actually shopping sample sales, which is my favorite thing to do. I love to shop a sample sale. Sample sales are probably my favorite ways to honestly get designer goods because one, sometimes you'll find really unique pieces that you probably wouldn't have seen if you were shopping retail. Secondly, obviously the steep discount is like the best. So yeah, I love to shop a sample sale. I have tons of sample sale items in here. Princess Schooler happens to be one of my favorite ones. And if you're not in New York, which, you know, I live in New York, so we do have access to sample sales. I think they're here and probably in like LA and maybe like Texas or something. Princess Schooler does an online sample sale, which is very, very good. Oh, but I digress. Anyway, so there's shopping sample sales, there's shopping consignment, which is another great way to buy discount designers. Consignment doesn't necessarily mean secondhand. There are some consignment items that are brand new. I've gotten some here as well. I love consignment shopping. It's a great way again. And that one I think is a little bit more accessible for everybody with companies like The Real and Fashion File. Like, you really definitely have great consignment online shops. So it's really easy to shop that way. And then the third way is actually by shopping at outlets, which if you had watched my video before, and I'll link it above, you would have seen me, you would have saw that last year I went to a great outlet in California and was able to get this fabulous Gucci coat and Gucci sunglasses from the Gucci outlet. I love a good outlet. We are in New York City. We are close to one called Woodbury Commons, which I have yet to go to. I mentioned that in that video too. I definitely will be making a trip there this year after scoring such great stuff in the one in California. But outlets are such a great way to get designer goods at a discount. Like, who doesn't love a discount? And obviously, that's not necessarily, but this designer clothing tends to be of better quality, so you'll get really great quality at a fraction of the price. And all three of those ways are really great ways to buy it. Again, sample sales being my favorite. So if you visit New York, you definitely have to hit up a sample sale because they're always just amazing. Like, they're really, really great. And they do sample sales not only on clothing, they do sample sales on so many things. Bags. MCM just had a sample sale, I think, a couple weeks ago. They do house goods. Tom Dixon does his sample sale here. It's just, like, sample sales are just my favorite. But I digress. The next on my list is a little different from the last one, and that is actually shopping vintage. Shopping vintage is another one of my favorite ways to get great, unique pieces that just really elevate your style and just really make you stand out and make you look unique in different aspects. One, because a lot of vintage items that you're going to get, you won't see a lot of. Like, you'll be a unicorn because chances are a lot of people don't have them. I have this fabulous Ralph Lauren blazer that has a little crest on it. I'll pop up a picture here, that every time I wear it, someone always asks me where it's from. They love this blazer, and I always tell them I got it from a thrift store for $9. I promise you that as rich as I will ever get, I will probably always shop vintage, just because I feel like you can get really, really great pieces. Half of my blazer collection is actually vintage because, one, I think they made them with way better materials than they do nowadays. I can get a full wool blazer, like, not mixed material wool, full wool, 100% wool blazer for like $10. And my favorite places to actually go and thrift, there are some great places here in the city, but I prefer to go in Maryland, where I'm from. I know that you girls in Texas, if y'all are in Texas, you guys have some great vintage and thrifting shops, because the girls there know their fashion, but they will quickly give it to a Goodwill. So I encourage you to go to your local Goodwill, your local thrift shop, and dig for some treasures, because you will definitely be able to find some really amazing pieces that will help elevate your style and help you look a little bit more put together and a little bit more luxurious. So the next item I'm going to talk about is actually to elevate your style and to save, not, you know, if you're on a budget, to save money, is actually by splurging on very unique and limited fun pieces. And the reason why I'm saying that is that if you spend money on really cherished pieces that you have, the cost per wear that you will have on those pieces will probably be, you know, very, very minimal. And what I mean by cost per wear is, if I spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes and I wear it a thousand times, it's basically only $1 a wear. But if I buy a pair of Zara shoes for $90 and I can only wear them 3 times or 4 times, you know, it tends to be more expensive. So that's why I encourage you, if you can, to splurge on very nice and unique pieces. And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be retail. It can be retail, but it could also be, like I mentioned before, secondhand, or a vintage consignment shop. You can get really great pieces at those kind of places too. But I encourage you, if you can add really fun, intricate, unique pieces to your wardrobe that are, you know, elevated, a little bit better quality, I would encourage you to do so, because those things tend to stay in our closets for a while, and we can bring them back in different seasons, and then it's just a really great pop of, you know, I remember seeing those a couple years ago, like seeing a girl in the street and she's wearing like this cute little vintage you know, designer moment that was all the rage back then. It might have been trendy then, but it's a unique piece now. I just love to see it. So I would encourage you guys, if you can, to shop some really great unique limited edition pieces. Like I bought these, and I talked about it in my video before, and I'll link it above, but I talked about these Fendace shoes. I don't know if Fendi and Versace are gonna do a collaboration ever again in the future, but I know that I already have a pair from the original one, and they will be in my closet forever. And I'm sure that if I ever decided to sell them, that I could probably make way more money than I spent for them, because there's just such a unique limited piece. I got the last pair of these shoes in the United States in a size 41, and there were also limited quantities, so I know that there wasn't a lot of them to begin with. Like, so that's my encouragement for you, if you can, splurge on some really unique, fun pieces. All right, that was my 7th one. I'm going to talk about my 8th one, and that is to splurge on classics. Much like your basics, classics are pieces that will go beyond trends. Like a classic Chanel flat bag will probably never go out of style. So investing in something like that might be worth the investment, because you will always be able to wear it. And I promise you, things like that tend to rise in appreciation. A Chanel flat bag, if you buy it secondhand, you can probably buy it maybe cheapest, like a good medium size, for like $5,000. When those girls bought those bags, they were like $900. And now they can sell them for $5,000 if they were kept in a really great condition. And if you go into Chanel to buy a classic flat bag, that bag will run you at least $7,000 or $8,000. That's how the prices have increased. So it makes sense to kind of invest in those pieces now, so that, one, you'll have a classic, because you can always bring out, and it always goes with different things, a classic Chanel flat bag, the Kelly bags, or a Birkin bag, and this is obviously style dependent. I'm not saying that if that's not your style, that's not your style. And the classic bag that's actually more recent, that I think will transcend time, is actually the tabby bag. I have the tabby bag in tan. I intend to get it in black and green, because I think it's going to be a bag that if I wear it 10 years from now, it will be a classic, and people will be like, oh, that's the tabby bag, it's so cute. Coach did a really, really good job on the tabby bag. making it something that I feel like is a classic. Another example of that is like the baguette, the Fendi baguette. It was a cool, fun bag then. It's a cool, fun bag now, and even that time that they made it, it's 25 years old now. To now, I think it's, you know, people have worn it and transcended it, and always, if you have a fun baguette, people are always going to ask you where it's from, and it's just a classic. Number 9 is to have a go-to uniform. Having a go-to uniform will cut down, one, the amount of time in the morning that you're searching for an outfit, and also two, I feel like it helps you to make sure that you're put together and you feel comfortable. And what I mean by go-to uniform, I mean not necessarily a capsule collection, and because I am not that girl. I will never push a capsule collection on anybody because my style is very eclectic. One day I could be wearing a pussy bow top, looking super prissy and glam, and the next day I can be wearing sparkles and a leather pants and looking super you know, grungy and fun. So I'm definitely not going to push anybody towards having a capsule collection, but I feel like having a uniform, like a particular style. Like my style, I like to say, is that I'm eclectic chic. So I feel like when I wear an outfit, it has to have some sort of kind of clean line to it. Like this top that I'm wearing, I wanted to say basic, but it's not a basic. It's an elevated basic top because it's a fairly, but it has these shoulder pads, which give it just a little bit of a chic element to it. And when I go for outfits, I tend to look for something that has, you know, if I'm wearing a fun shape on the bottom, I have to wear like something with a clean line on the top. It could be printed, it could be bright colored, it could be fun, crazy, cool, but I just feel like with my style, and I'm popping up photos of different outfits, I love something that is it is eclectic but yet chic. And with that, I will always lean towards wearing a blazer. I love blazers. I feel like you can dress them up, you can dress them down. I've worn blazers with shorts, I've worn blazers with skirts, I wear blazers with dresses, I wear blazers with tank tops, tube tops, whatever, any kind of top, any kind of outfit combination. I can make a blazer look not necessarily so stuffy with it. And that's kind of like my personal style uniform. And this year in 2023, I would encourage you to find your style uniform, like something that you gravitate towards. Well, whether you're like, I love florals. If you're a floral girl and something has to have florals in it, it just makes it a lot easier for you to pinpoint those different things and to be able to lean towards them. And when you have a uniform and you know that you know, you have these particular elements in the outfit, it gives you an air of confidence, which makes you just look a little bit more chic, a little bit more expensive. Being confident is one of the biggest ways, and all of these, honestly,